Mr. Bowen came to me in the spring and talked to me about the ESME program. I think it's amazing, and there's no other word for it, because the teachers here, in particular at Apollo, for 9 months of the year, they spend encouraging kids, pushing kids, trying to get kids to do work, to do credits, to want to learn, to want to come to school. And I think no matter how amazing they are, they need a break from that environment to an environment with adults where they're working on projects, where they're able to refocus, be able to take the resources in Silicon Valley and being able to apply them in the classroom.
My school, Apollo, is considered a small but necessary school. I guess you could call it like a continuation school. We serve students who are still juniors and seniors, but they've fallen behind on their credits. And so we are working to help these students catch up and graduate on time. The context of this lesson is something I kind of came up with this last summer through my ESME fellowship to try to empower these students, to try to give them more of a sense of what's going on in their community, what's going on with their government, what's going on with policymakers, what are some of the larger challenges being faced by the Bay Area and California, and what can they do about it. My ETP is designed to show my students how a public policy organization works. It's designed to show them how various interest groups, individuals, businesses, what have you, interact with local, state, and national government to form policy to affect legislation and executive decisions on a variety of issues. Last summer, my fellowship with SVLG was basically a research position. I was helping them look at what's going on with job trends in Silicon Valley. I observed a lot of how the leadership group interacts with one another, how they function, how they interact with elected officials, and I wanted to kind of mimic their practices with my students. Today's lesson was designed to give the students a sense of kind of how the day-to-day business of a policy group like the leadership group, how they would function. So we started off, the students were working in their specific policy areas just as they do at the leadership group. And I explained to the students there's a transportation section of the leadership group, there's a housing specialist, there's energy, there's education. And you see that in the lesson here too. There's various groups working on their issues, looking at research. Then we had the policy group meeting. I brought everybody together just as they would do once a week at the leadership group. They would typically do it at the beginning of the week and have these big meetings where people would go around and discuss what's going on, the calendar, the agenda, and what projects were being undertaken in the various issue sectors of the group. And so we did that in the class today, just to kind of give a sense of how these guys interact and just to hear what's happening in California with all these various issues that the students are looking at.
One policy group that I'm a part of is education. And I learned that in California alone in 2006-2007, we did spend $9.3 billion on just special education. One recommendation that me and my partner have is to raise the taxes on those who can afford it, like the rich, instead of raising the taxes on the poor.
The policy group that I'm part of was the transportation in California, and what I learned was that the traffic flow in California is really increasing due to the population growth here too, and we need to find ways which we can lower that traffic. One recommendation that I can give the state about it would probably be to do the bullet train. It would be a great idea. Will stop people from driving from either here to all the way to Los Angeles and burning a bunch of fuel.
My issue was health, and I learned that a lot of people don't have health insurance, and if they do, they have to pay it forward cash, and it's really hard if you don't have insurance. You don't have coverage for a lot of important health issues you may have. My group recommends that everyone should have the chance to have health insurance and just be eligible for it, and just how important it is for kids and just adults as well.
This lesson is different in the sense that this grading period is one big project. Usually I kind of have more of a traditional setup in my class. I do lots of quizzes, informative assessments like tests that we build up to. This one is more of kind of an ongoing day-by-day lesson where they're putting things together every single day towards kind of a final end result, big project they're going to be turning in. So I'm not doing a quiz this grading period, I'm not doing a test. It's a little bit scary because it's a little more unwieldy, like it's not as much control as I usually like to have. And it's kind of a risk, you know, it's just kind of, there's a lot out there that's on the students that they got to find for themselves to make this thing work. They got to really step up and do the work and find information about their topics, whereas traditionally I'm bringing a lot more to them through lectures and activities and group activities and whatnot. This, they got to go find the information. So it's a little bit of a risk, but it's kind of fun.
What I liked about today's lesson is learning about other issues that I wasn't really aware of or thinking about.
We learned about the different struggles that happen in California and how we can learn to solve all of them.
The thing I thought about this format of a lesson was that it's pretty intense because I've never done this at all. So it's stressful but exciting at the same time, so I can't wait how it turns out in the end.
One of my big goals with doing ISME was I wanted to challenge myself, just kind of force myself to try some new things. This has definitely done that. I don't know if I would have taken on kind of scary assignment like this with these students if I hadn't done something like ISME. ISME kind of gave me that, you know, it gave me some structure, gave me some ideas, and it gave me that push, like, hey, I did this whole summer, I created this unit, I got to do it. I think that has definitely been a big benefit from ISME, and that's a goal that's been achieved. It's just, it pushed me to try new things and to take some more risks with my teaching, and so mission accomplished.
As you can see by the lesson plans you saw today, it was great. He got ideas that he's implemented in the classroom. So in turn, it's affected a whole group of kids here on the east side of town, which would have never had that opportunity.